So why is this particular story significant? What's the relevance? What's the importance? Well, for me, I was schooled in classic clinical psychology. I learned all the theorists. I learned everything that Freud essentially had to say about who we are, what we're about. And I want you to really think about this. So Freud had, well, first of all, let me back up. Let me integrate this as well. Part of what I talk about in the book is we really discuss constructs. And what a construct is nothing more than an idea. But we often relate to these ideas as if they're solid, as if they're real, as if there's something other than just an idea. Freud created three very prominent constructs. Something called the id, something called the ego, and something called the superego. It doesn't exist. It's nowhere to be found, you know? Can't cut open your brain and find any id, ego, or superego. But the relevance is that we relate to it as if they really exist. And Freud's notion of who we are was not pretty. Really. Freud believed that we were aggressive by nature, that we were impulsive by nature, that we were driven by our sexual energy. And I want you to think about, whether you're aware of it or not, whether this is a conscious element, if in fact you're introduced to yourself, if what we believe are about ourselves is that we're driven and aggressive and impulsive, that's the context in which we live. That's who we believe we are. Well, that's a very Western concept. And I'm troubled by it. I'm troubled by it because I think it shapes who we become. Now, if you flip it over and you think about someone like the Dalai Lama doesn't see the human nature that way at all. Dalai Lama sees human nature the way this Buddha statue essentially is described, which is that we're gentle beings, that we're loving beings, that we're compassionate beings. And I have to tell you, I believe that to be the case. I know what goes on in this world. I'm of the world just as you are. But I think the reason why we act the way we act is that this clay structure that envelops us really causes us to behave in ways that is really antithetical to our true nature. You know, put simply, there's really two ways to be in the world. You can either act out of love or you can act out of fear.